So that brings us to our co-main event here. A nice welterweight bout between a couple of guys trying to crack that top 10. Actually, really excited about this one. On one hand, we got Warlley Alves here. On the other hand, we got Mounir Lazzez. Really excited about this one. So, we got Warlley making his return to the ring in 2021. We actually didn't see him fight in 2020. And his last loss was back in 2019 against Randy Brown. He sports that 13-4 record. But if you dive a little deeper, man, those 4 losses, they're extremely credible. Apart from Brown, we got James Krause, we got Kamaru Usman, and we got Bryan Barberena. So, no joke right there. He's going to be someone, really looking forward to bouncing back in this one. On the flip side, we got Mounir, who's a nice high-flying prospect. He made his debut back in July of last year, took out Al-Hassan in unanimous decision, and he rocks that 10-1 record. He's had some very credible wins in the UAE, and he should feel very at home for this one. I'm pumped about this one. What do you got here, man?
Yeah, so let's talk about the vet first, right? Warlley Alves. I remember him making a big name for himself on Tough Brazil 3. I mean, that was an era where some big guys, Antonio Carlos Jr. was a big one as well, a personal favorite of mine as he kind of came up through the UFC ranks. But, let's talk about a bit of that MMA math again. You mentioned a lot of those fights, but Warlley Alves beat Alan Jouban, Nordin Taleb, Colby Covington before losing to Bryan Barberena and Kamaru Usman. Bryan Barberena. Can we talk about Randy Orton from the UFC, from the WWE?
WWE, yeah.
Yeah.
What about him?
Legend killer. Remember that? Back in the day, he was considered the legend killer, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is the same thing. Sage Northcutt. Who beat him? Bryan Barberena. Fucking Warlley Alves. Who beat him? Bryan Barberena. I don't think Bryan Barberena gets enough credit for just being the UFC legend killer. But you know what? Let's move on from him and go right into what I think is probably not a Mudaerji prospect, personal favorite for me, but pretty high up there. That debut against Al-Hassan that you brought up, I mean, let's talk about for a second. Going into it, huge underdog, was considered someone that was going to probably get knocked out fairly early, just showed us everything about his game. He was able to strike at all 3 levels. He hit the legs, he hit the body, he hit the head. He showed us everything. He was 4 of 4 when it came to takedowns. And you know what? He was able to tire the man out. He was able to showcase all of his skills against a better UFC fighter. And frankly, you can't not just applaud that showing in what should have been a loss probably by finish against some UFC pundits.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So, yeah, great breakdown there. That Al-Hassan victory, that was very telling, and I think it was a surprise to all of us for sure. Really showed the level of prospect that Mounir really is. So I'm really looking forward to this co-main event. Where do you see the line landing here? Let's get you another bell here. What do you got here?
Yeah, so for me, it's like these guys have just been around for a while, so I took a little bit of recency into consideration as well. So like Warlley, in that fight you mentioned about Randy Brown, like I want to bring this up when we talked about the Lions, right? He looked tired, and this new age UFC teams, like guys from the old school days, are just not able to keep up with where the fight seems to go up and down. All of a sudden, you get tired, you catch a kick, you go down to the ground, but then you get caught in, a submission. For purely sluggish reasons. So those are tough fighters to kind of put your money on, because you might go into something.
For sure.
Yeah, well, because you're kind of thinking based on skill, this guy might have what it takes. But, after a round and a half of fighting a certain style, whether it's on the ground, whether it's too many strikes thrown, whether it's, just burning yourself out with adrenaline, you just kind of lose that edge. And it's unfortunate because we kind of seen him do that against Randy Brown, which got him that big L. And, let's talk about the loss on the Lazzez side. This is such a close fight for me because Eldar Aldarov is a brave FC champion who's set to defend his belt against Leonardo Mafra, who's an MMA veteran as well. Shout out to our boy, Shorty Torres. If you haven't checked out the interview, Paisan, pitch that interview one quick time.
Yeah, we actually had the pleasure of sitting down with this man yesterday. Jeez, what a beauty he is, man. It was like talking to one of our old friends here. So that was a real treat. Make sure you check it out. It'll be on YouTube in one of the next few days. And that was what a pleasure it was chatting with that guy, man.
With that said, Lazzez minus 180. Give me a bell, bro.
Oh, you got the bell, man. You got
Let's
the bell.
go, baby. Let's go, baby.
So he actually opened at a minus 200 favorite. And if I look now, he's already moved to minus 220. I could see that just continuing to grow.
Pies, would you consider locking in right now as we record a Villanueva parlay with Mounir Lazzez to get the juices flowing?
You know, I would incorporate something else with Mounir because I like taking Villanueva at -138 straight. There's
Oh
good
God, this guy
value
doesn't
in-
want to see that plus. He never does. I always pitch these on the side. He's anything that's below -150. He's like, no, I can take it straight up.
Why would I throw that in the parlay when I can take it straight up, man?
Because we'll win at a board. We win at a board. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. And he doesn't want to tell you guys, but we do it all the time.
But, you know,
rules are rules.
Mudaerji.
Rules are rules. Go check out our betting videos right now. Paisan lays them all out for you right there. If you want to learn how to kind of just get your feet wet, all this UFC betting stuff, you know, that's a great place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, a Mounir Lazzez and Mudaerji prospect parlay. Now you're speaking my language. Now I'm getting something at -124 that should be a -200.
This man's talking about, you know, Christmas coming late and shit. Mm-hmm. That's pressure, though. Throwing a Nurmagomedov right in there.
Worst part is that guy doesn't even juice your odds up anything, man. At -500.
It's like, yeah, just for Harley, me throwing a third fight for no reason.
For no reason.
No reason at all, folks.
But you know we're probably going to do it. So it boosted up to a +118. That's enticing, man.
There you go. Horse's mouth himself.
That wraps up UFC Fight Island 8. You know, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that bell button. All our information's below. Instagram, Twitter. Give us a follow, like, subscribe, shoot us comments, whatever you need. Anything else you want to plug here, Siraj?
I mean, plenty of dogs on this card, so it might not be as exciting as some of the picks that we released for the upcoming card on Saturday, but keep an eye out. This card is a lot of fun fights. Forget the gambling stuff. This is a very fun card to watch. You got two contenders, you know, headlining, and like Pi said, follow. We got plenty of MMA stuff coming out, and as always, man, it's always a pleasure, man. Love doing this shit with you. Can't wait to keep going.
Likewise, brother. And yeah, like you said, man, we get this on a Wednesday. It's a real treat. We're going to have to sacrifice watching the challenge that night. But, you know, we get a nice UFC treat on a Wednesday. So enjoy it. And yeah, always a pleasure, brother.
My man. Take it easy. Peace.
Later.